Greetings. Welcome to the second record of Lusitania, una perspectiva del siglo XXI. Do you recognize me? Yes, indeed. I am Justus Lusitanus, the editor of Lusitania, speaking again. But I will remove my helmet. Much better so. You very probably remember this is the Centurion Roma Helmet we were talking about in our first record of Lusitania. It's interesting, it's just fascinating to see how the expression of her face is really changed when we put on a Roma helmet. The message we project is, the message we issue is a message of might, power, capacity, and obviously skillful in warfare, skills in warfare. So this is a Roma helmet, and this is the aspect they used to have when they put on their helmets. But today we are going to talk about another element of the Roman armor. This is called pugio. Pugio. A pugio is a dagger, as you can see. Well, this is a reproduction, obviously, and it is really ornamented. It is really decorated. It's too sophisticated, especially when we compare with the kind of pugios the legionnaires normally had. So this possibly could belong to a high officer of the army. We're going to show it completely, very carefully. This is a knife that was really useful in a moment of difficulty in the middle of the battle. Obviously they had their sword, the gladius, that was the most important element of attack, but they had this support knife or dagger. Something that's curious that we know about the pugios is that, as you very probably know, the lutes that they got in campaigns was finally turned in silver and gold. And so when they won the fights, when they won the battles, and they conquered new territories, the legionnaires got silver and gold, and they incorporated those elements in this pugio as an adornment. It is decorated. It was decorated by them. So, in a certain aspect, a pugio was some kind of savings bank or savings box. So they got an amount of valuable things when they finally left the army, left the Roman legion after 20 or 25 years of service. Interesting. We were talking about in the first recording of Lusitania about the Roman attitude. We were talking about how practical they were and how they cope with others, people's ideas, and they finally were successful in many aspects. But today we're going to talk about the situation of Roman army in the battlefield, and we are going to compare with other traditional enemy of the Romans. Let's talk, for instance, about the northern barbarians. We're going to talk about, for instance, the Germans. The attitude of the Germans in battle was absolutely different to the Romans in battle. Why? Well, the first thing that caught our attention is initially in the beginning of the battle, they began to shout. The Germans, for instance, began to shout and scream in order to create a sensation of fear in the Roman legions. Is something, well, of course, in the relative way, it's something similar to what happens nowadays with the football team's supporters. They shout in a way that they try to encourage the supporter team, and they try to inspire respect for the contrary team, the team they're going to face in that day. So in this case, we can visualize, we can imagine maybe 8,000 or 10,000 Roman legionnaires facing maybe 20,000 Germans, for instance. It was very possible. And also we are talking about northern men that individually were stronger and taller than the Roman legionnaires in general. And the way they attacked was absolutely brutal. It was just a blow of people, a crowd making a tremendous blow of energy against the Roman lines. So, how did the legionnaires face this attack? Well, as professionals, as an ordered professional team with an economy of efforts, they knew how to attack their enemies and how to overcome them with the least possible effort, and also with discipline, paying attention continually to the instructions given by the centurions or the high officers. That made possible that a few ones could face and overcome and conquer the territories with tremendous crowds of enemies. And from this case in particular, we can get a practical lesson. Nowadays, we live in moments in a period of the history in which sometimes the easy success is being very accepted. But we are going to talk in behalf of the teamwork. And this is a practical lesson we get from the Romans. They knew how to work together, shoulder to shoulder, and the success was in God because each one of them knew what to do, when to do, and what orders follow. So they were obedient, they had a mentality of group, and that's something that personally I think it is useful in nowadays situation. Another characteristic of the personality of the Romans in the army was the composition of Roman army. We cannot imagine, we don't imagine a uniform group of persons, no, because as we remember, the Roman Empire was spread in a great territory in Europe, Asia, and Northern Africa. So the legionnaires became from different nations, had different backgrounds, they had different physical aspects, different colors of skin, different color of eyes, well, you know, all the variety of three continents in Europe. And this is interesting for us today because the Romans did not care about the physical aspect of the legionnaires, of the centurions, or of the generals. They looked for the capacity, the skills of each one of them. So after 20 or 25 years of service, they were paid after leaving officially leaving the army. They were paid with metal, with money in this case. Many other occasions they owned lands in order to settle down in them in different provinces of the empire, and they got the Roman citizenship. So the Romans did not care, we insist, in the backgrounds or in the physical aspect or race of the persons, but in the capacity as humans, in the capacity as individuals. Just to give a classical example, let's talk about Emperor Trajan. At the end of the first century, Emperor Trajan was a general, was the chief commander of the armies of Germania, but Trajan was appointed by Emperor Nerva to become his successor. Trajan was a Spaniard. Trajan was born here, very close to us, Italica, a village close to Seville, and he was a Spaniard, and he was called to become the emperor of Rome, and he was the chief commander of the northern legions. We could talk about many other examples. So another practical lesson from the Romans. The Romans had committed many mistakes. Sometimes we get astonished with their brutality, but they had a acquaintance. They had knowledge about how to take the best of the individuals, and so in this case we can learn a lot. Thank you very much indeed to all the readers of Lusitania. We encourage you to recommend our project. We insist we will be very pleased if you continue reading and accessing to www.lusitania.es, our website. And of course, we would like to receive your suggestions and your opinions. And if you would like to have some issues on Roman culture treated in the most deep way we can do, we will try to do our best. We are so pleased to communicate to you. It is a pleasure. Greetings from Lusitania, Provincia Romana, Iastus Lusitanus, Idea of Lusitania, una perspectiva del siglo XXI.